Elia ameitana moto. Oh my God, amefanya miujiza, amefanya mambo makubwa, lakini akachoka. Oh, moto umeshuka kutoka mbinguni, lakini akachoka, akajitenga na mtumishi wake, akamwambia mtumishi wake, kaa kidogo hapa. Akaingia kule kwa msitu, akaingia huko msituni, akakaa huko, akasema nikufie huku.
By the way, have you ever had something pressing you and you fail to understand who to share that story with? You realize that in today's life, it is very hard to trust someone with your story. You tell someone your story today, and the next day you hear it somewhere else, not from one person, not from two people, but from several people. And these people end up making conclusions out of the story. They end up judging you. And you realize that today, in today's church, people are stabbing each other. You realize that people do not uphold that love, the love that Christ Jesus left for us. And by the way, I was watching this morning another video where a guy was saying, is it appropriate for Christians to go to church? Because he was questioning the whole institution of church. And he was mentioning that today in church, people are fighting each other. And when we come to church, there is that pretense where people pretend to be fellowshipping, people pretend to be loving one another. But then when you look at it, you realize that people nowadays do not love each other. They really hate each other. They are envious, and they are even jealous about one's success. I found a video online on TikTok, and there was this pastor who was sharing, and he was asking, whom will I tell my story? Whom will I trust with my story? And I found it very fascinating and at the same time very emotional, because he even was crying and the congregants were crying. And I could relate with these people. I could feel their pain. I could feel some betrayal when these people were crying. Maybe someone betrayed them somewhere, maybe in the church, maybe in the family, maybe in the business. Someone close to them, betrayed them, and people were really sobbing in tears. So I want us to watch this video, and I'll be giving my thoughts at the end of this video. So please allow us to watch.
Utaongea na nani? Utaongea na nani dunia kama hii? Utaongea na nani umweleze? Utaongea na nani? Utaongea na nani? Utaongea na nani kama utaisikia kesho?
Okay, for those who do not understand Swahili, he says, utaongea na nani kama hautaisikia kesho? Meaning, who will you share with your story and not hear it somewhere else tomorrow? Okay, that is what he is trying to pass across, all right?
Utaongea na nani kama utaikuta kule mbele? Utaongea na nani? Utaongea na nani? Unabaki pale ukiongea tu peke yako, unasema, whom shall I? Oh my God! Whom shall I tell my story? Whom shall I tell my story? Whom shall I tell my story? Watu wameniambia yao, but whom shall I tell my story? Watu wameniambia mambo yao, watu wameniambia yao, watu wamenielezea yao, watu wameniambia yao. Whom shall I tell my story? 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 Whom shall I?
When you find a man crying, then you know that is serious, man. And you can relate with these people, the pain they are in. And look at this guy, the way he tries to hide these tears, but he can no longer hold. Maybe because it's relating to his story, and people are really hurting. If you are there and you hurt people in church, I want to encourage you to stop that, because people are going through a lot. You really do not understand the pain that these people are going through. Look at these men. These are married men, but they can end up crying just because of the story that they have shared, and someone has shared it somewhere else. And they have had critiques, they have had conclusions and judgments from people. And that's why you see that they are crying in this service. He's really trying to hide the tears, but he cannot hold them on any longer.
Saa zingine mapito yanaweza yakafanya yule mtu aliye na neema na mafuta akajikuta amefanya mambo mengine, watu wasiposimama na yeye akakuta amepotea.
Okay, here he says sometimes you find someone who is anointed, is graced, and is gifted doing something that he should not be doing just because people are not there for him. Okay, I want you to get that point clear.
Akakuta amepotea tu. Elia ameitana moto. Oh my God, amefanya miujiza, amefanya mambo makubwa, lakini akachoka. Oh, moto umeshuka kutoka mbinguni, lakini akachoka. Akajitenga na mtumishi wake, akamwambia mtumishi wake, kaa kidogo hapa. Akaingia kule kwa msitu, akaingia huko msituni, akakaa huko, akasema nikufie huku.
Okay, he gives the example of Elijah, and he says that Elijah did great things. You remember that story where he called the prophets of Baal, and he said, call upon your God. If he can come and consume this sacrifice, then we are going to worship him as the true God. And the Bible records that when they cried to Baal, Baal did not come. And then he called upon God of heaven, and God came in form of fire and consumed that very sacrifice. And Elijah has been on record and has done a lot of, prophecies. But then he reached at a point and he gave up. He reached at a point he was pushed to the wall, okay? Remember him saying that we have gifted people and talented people and graced people who end up doing what they are not supposed to do just because they are not people who are there for them. So Elijah reached at a point and he gave up. Irrespective of all that he had done, he reached on the brick wall and he was giving up. And he told his servant, you remain here. He went to the forest and he was there. He was sobbing and crying to God, and he was so much broken. And he was like, let me die from here. Okay, so you realize that people are going through a lot. However much they are anointed, however much they are graced, however much they are gifted, they are going through a lot. I wish you understood what servants of God and what fellow Christians are going through. Okay, yeah. So next time, before you decide to fight that person, before you decide to speak against that one person, try to think, what are the consequences? Nowadays, we fear to share our stories because we do not know who to trust. We cannot trust our friends. We cannot trust our family. We cannot trust our fellow Christians. We cannot trust our pastors, our bishops. They no longer are trusted because they end up sharing your story. You can go to the office of the pastor and you tell him, this is what I'm going through. And the next time you hear him preaching and he's preaching the same story. So you feel so much broken because you felt that this is the time that you are sharing with him and you needed his advice, you needed his prayers, but then he turns it into a preaching sermon. He turns it into a critique. He judges you from what you say, and it hurts you so much. If you've gone through that, I want to say I'm sorry, but God is there for us. We can pray directly to God through Jesus Christ, and I'm telling you that he is going to answer us. Otherwise, I just wanted to bring to your awareness that there are people who are hurting in church, and this is because of the fellow Christians and fellow brethren whom they worship together, whom they fellowship together, and today there is no true fellowship. We just come together and pretend to be fellowshipping and pretend to be loving one another. But I pray that let there reach a time where people will uphold true love, will value relationships, and will keep secrets of one another. If you found this video helpful, please share it with your friends and family, and maybe there's someone who is going through the same and they can get encouraged from this video. You can also drop me a comment. I want to know how you feel about this. If you've ever gone through the same, please make sure that you drop me a comment. I would like to read it and hopefully reply to it. Hey, you've reached the end of this video. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give us a like and also subscribe for more videos. Now, click here to watch our next video, and I'm pretty sure that I'll see you in that video. Peace.